My name is Kakai, and I was tasked to report about a certain issue among our young people in this generation, or especially in our country. And this issue po is about premarital sex and teenage pregnancy. I believe you are all aware about this issue. It's very rampant, and it's also very alarming. Kasi nangyayari po talaga ito sa different areas ng Philippines. And I'm about to share to you statistics, reports about first premarital sex and then teenage pregnancy. So for our sources about this report, so we researched about it, and I can assure you po the statistics and the report is highly reliable. This statistic is resulted from the Young Adult Fertility and Sexuality, or YAPS 4. Meron po silang sequence of statistics in different years. So last 2013 po sila nag-take ng another statistics, and it's the fourth one. This was revealed by the University of the Philippines Population Institute, or UPPI, and the Demographic Research and Development Foundation Incorporated, or DRDF, reported by Interaction.com last 2014. Okay, let's start with premarital sex. Study shows that 1 in 3 youth aged 15 to 24 has engaged already in premarital sex. So 1 in 3 young person or young people ages 15 to 24. So if you can see, these young people are still in their teenage years, nag-aaral pa, high school, or even college. So the number increased by more than 14% from almost 20 years ago. So tumaas po talaga, hindi siya nag-decline, tumaas po ang number of cases ng mga young people engaging to premarital sex. By the way, premarital sex, if we will define it, pre means before, marital means marriage, and the sexual activity. So premarital sex is sex before marriage. And in legal terms, it's called fornication. And even in the Bible, it's also called fornication, when a man or a woman is engaged in a sexual activity outside or before marriage. Okay, so if you will calculate 1 out of 3, it's already 6.2 million in the Philippines only. So 1 out of 3 young people, it's 6.2 million young people aging 15 to 24 years old. Is it alarming, church? Yes, it is very alarming. 6.2 million just in the Philippines. This is according to University of the Philippines Population Institution. So before 1994, kung makikita nyo po ang percentage ng male at female na nag-undergo or nag-engage to premarital sex, kung makikita po natin ang difference between a male and a female engaging to premarital sex, medyo malaki po. Sa 1994, 26.1% sa males, and then females 10.2%. So if we will get the difference between the male and the female, it's just about 15% po ang gap nila. Pero when it came po ng 2013, it's mga 6 or 5% na lang ang difference nila. So parang humahabol po talaga ang number ng mga females na nag-engage ng premarital sex in the year 2013. So males have already 35.5% who are engaging to premarital sex, and then females 28.7%. So again, it's very alarming. Here in the Philippines po, we have regions or areas in the Philippines that has the highest rate of premarital sex, and there are also regions with lower rates of premarital sex. First is in NCR, National Capital Region, and Central Luzon. So sa NCR po, it's 40.9% ng mga young people po ang nag-engage ng premarital sex. And also sa Central Luzon, it's 39.1%. So marami po talaga sila. And also kung lowest po ang titingnan natin na rate ng nag-engage ng premarital sex, the lowest is in ARMM, the Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao, which only has 7.7% of young people engaging in premarital sex. Another is that among this population that's going on about premarital sex, there are 78% of young people who are engaging in premarital sex for the very first time are unprotected against the risk of pregnancy and or other sexually transmitted infections or diseases. So isa pong example ng STD or STI is HIV or AIDS and gonorrhea and other diseases and sickness that highly affects normally the reproductive system, or it can occur sa brain. So there you have it. And then wala po dyan, I'll just discuss 73.4 among males. 73.4% among males did not use any protection during their sexual activity, and 83.8% for females did not use any protection during their sexual activities. So that's very, again, alarming. So yan po, 78% are engaging without any safe or protection among them. But di ba po sa church, we really and we highly encourage our young people to commit themselves to no sex until the day of their wedding, until the day of their marriage. So normally sa government or like DOH, ang gina-promote lang po nila is safe sex. Like you use contraceptives or condoms, but not really no sex. So if you would say that if you want 100% safe sex among young people, it should be no sex, di ba? So we really can't assure safe sex if, again, young people are not informed, not educated in what they should do as young people. Okay. So there are different forms of premarital sex that young people do. First is commercial sex. In 2002, actually po, medyo mataas po talaga yung commercial sex. 3.3% po siya all over the Philippines. Pero this year, bumaba po siya ng 1.4%. So when we say commercial sex, it's sexual activity for like in exchange for money or any goods or in kinds. Another is casual sex. So 7.3% among young people. So casual sex is just sexual activity with no relationship talaga. It can be online or kahit hindi mo friend, ganun. So, and then another is extramarital sex. So if a young people is engaged in or kinasal na siya or live-in, so meron na siyang spouse, pero this person is still engaged in premarital sex with other person, so that's extramarital. So, or yeah, he's bound to a spouse already. So that's 3.1%. And there's a new phenomenon po, the 20th century activity that young people do. It's friends with benefits. I know it's kinda, I mean, marami pong may nakakaalam nito, pero they interpret it differently. But according to the study, it's really like you're just friends, but you are doing sexual activity. So that's what young people do. So that's 3.5%. So among this series of sexual activity that young people do, highest is 7.3%, which is casual sex. It happens kahit kanino and through text or online, ganyan. So that's how our young people, I mean the youth of this generation are doing, and it's very sad and it's very alarming. Next is premarital sex. Usually, nag-result po siya from other initial sexual activity like pornography, other sexual acts, and ang result niya is eventually premarital sex. And these activities, according to the research, is really facilitated by technology. So 56.5% among males and females are exposed already to pornographic videos and movies. And then it's half of the population. 35.6% exposed to reading materials like magazines na, alam nyo, meron po kayong alam na mga magazines, di ba, na binibenta sa store, na nag-i-encourage sa mga young people to buy it and then read it. So, yun. So, be it magazines or any prints that are explicit or, that promotes pornography. And lastly, 15.5% po ang exposed sa mga pornographic websites. So, this is not just for males. This is a mixture po of males and females. So, another is that there are also young people who are engaging in sex not only through other technologies but also using internet and their smartphones or their cell phones. So here, one in every four young person sent or received a sex video through cell phone or internet. 1 in 100 recorded their sexual activity. 4 in 100 had sex with someone they just met online. And 6 in 100 engaged in phone sex. So, again, these are the activities of the youth nowadays. And it's sometimes parents doesn't know about it. Sometimes just the friends, they look for guidance from their own friends and they hide it from their parents. So, nangyayari, hindi po talaga sila nag-guide ng maayos. And that's, again, very sad what's going on. It's latest po latest na. And there are also health consequences regarding if a person is engaging into premarital sex. Number 1 is STD, sexually transmitted disease, or yung sinabi kanina na STI, sexually transmitted infections. Usually, it's virus. So, ang highest level po ng STD nowadays is the HIV. So, human immunovirus. So, ang result niyan is AIDS. Ang AIDS po, hindi po siya specific na sakit. It targets the immune system. Pag bumaba po ang immune system, that's when other diseases, common sickness comes into the body and weakens the body and eventually kills the body. So, mamamatay. And usually, a person na may AIDS has already a death penalty. So, kung may AIDS sa isang person, wala na siyang parang, wala pa pong sure na gamot about AIDS. So, a person can only live up to 10 to 15 or at most 20 years. Another health consequence of premarital sex is different health risks. For women, it can be cervical cancer, breast cancer, especially sa mga teenager po. Why? Because teenagers like 13 to 19 years old, hindi pa po ready or well prepared ang kanilang reproductive organ to carry a baby. So there are hormones, mga different hormones na imbalanced, physically, structurally, ang katawan ay hindi pa ready. So, usually, health risks, pinaka-dangerous po is eclampsia. Eclampsia means it is a sickness na diagnosed siya before pre-eclampsia. Ang nangyayari po sa babae or teenager na nabubuntis ng very early is that high blood pressure, umu-occur po siya, and at the same time, tumataas yung protein sa urine, nagkakaroon ng infection, usually nagtitrigger sa brain, nagkakaroon ng seizure or convulsion, and then coma, and then eventually death. So those are very dangerous threat sa life ng isang teenage pregnant na babae. And lastly is emotional, psychological damage among youth. So we can say it's psychological because other study shows that sexual activities or sex can be addicting to a person. So it can really damage one life to another. And that's very sad, especially also among women, emotional damage, because yun, it can really tear your life apart, and it can promote other sexual, be easily tempted by other sexual activities and other cycle of sexual temptations, mabilis mag-give in, and at the same time, nagsastart ng damage, hindi lang sa kanya, but also sa next generation na nag-follow sa kanya. So, ganun. Next is, let's go to teenage pregnancy. So, and again, we have also sources from this study, the National Demographic and Health Survey released by the Philippine Statistics Authority last August 2014, and then the Young Adult Fertility and Sexuality reported by the Philippine Daily Inquirer last May 2014. So again, 1 in 10 young Filipino women aged 15 to 19 years old has begun childbearing already, or naka-experience na ng premarital sex and nanganak na, or again, it can be their first or second baby, or the worst, third or more. So 8% are already mothers, again 15 to 19 years old. 8% are already mothers, and 2% of them are pregnant with their first child. And also 1 in 5 young adult women aged 18 to 24 years old has initiated sexual activity before pa sila nag-18 years old. So again, there are high rates of teenage pregnancy, mainly in Caraga region, 38%, and also in Cagayan Valley, 37%. So there are reasons for becoming pregnant among female teenagers. This includes, number 1, unplanned sexual encounter, normally with boyfriend, or getting caught in the moment, yung pag sila lang dalawa and then no one's watching them, so that's what happens. So another is peer pressure. It's very rampant in colleges, even in high school. So people will think, or normally nagiging parang loser ang isang babae or isang lalaki if you're still virgin. So ganun ang mentality na ini-inject ng ibang tao. So, and also right now, rampant din ang bullying, aside from peer pressure, including din ang bullying. Another is lack of information maybe from the government, or even positive information that will really encourage young people to pursue purity and pursue sex within the context of marriage. Another is absence of accessible adolescent-friendly clinics. So far, we haven't really observed any facilities or clinics that will really cater the needs of young people. And I was not able to include that. They also included the breakdown of family life and lack of good female role models in the family. So, broken family, the mother left, so walang good female role model sa bahay. So that's very hard for a young woman. And then, there are a lot of risks, especially sa isang babae na teenager na nag-engage na ng premarital sex and eventually resulted into teenage pregnancy. Number 1 is inadequate nutrition due to poor eating habits. So how can you expect a teenager to take care of the baby when at her very young age, she can't even take good care of herself, like her eating habits, ganon. So what you eat normally affects the baby. So marami ding nangyayari, aside sa mother, nangyayari din sa baby, like prematurity, malnourishment, and a lot of diseases, and also mental problem. Next is dangers associated with reproductive organs not ready for birth. So I was able to explain that a while ago, like preeclampsia and eclampsia in the mother side, which causes death. And then maternal death due to high risk of eclampsia. So, according sa isang statistics again, yung maternal death po is nagbaba, pero yung teenage maternal death is tumaas. So, just last year, tumaas po siya ng 10%. Again, bumaba po yung maternal death, but ang teenage maternal death increased by 10% just in the last year. So, dito pa nag-end ang aking report about all these things, and it's my desire that we will really pray about it and pray against premarital sex, pray against teenage pregnancy. And I believe the young people are looking for mentors, looking for models who are going to teach them, who are going to model to them the kind of life that God wants them to live. And so, right now, let's be in the attitude of prayer as we bring these concerns, these issues to the Lord.